Good evening. We're going to go ahead and call the City Commission meeting for Tuesday, March 15th, 2022 to order. I'm going to begin with a moment of silence, but before we do that, I would ask that you would also recognize at this time someone who was actually a friend of Grand Rapids who passed away on today. His name is Floyd Wilson. Floyd was the chair of Experience Grand Rapids. He was also a longtime member of the Grand Rapids-Kent County Commission Arena Authority, and got news on this afternoon that Floyd had passed away. He leaves here his wife and 3 children and grandchildren, and we'd like to take a moment to also make sure that we're sending out condolences and our love to the Wilson family. But if you could join us in a moment of silence. After that, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Thank you. We'll now have roll call.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Present.
Commissioner Lanier. Present. Commissioner Repart.
Here.
Commissioner Asasi.
Present.
President Jones.
Here. Also, colleagues, if we could have a motion to excuse our mayor. She is currently in Lansing meeting with legislators throughout the course of the day, as well as if we could also excuse our colleague Commissioner Moody. Is there a motion to excuse the two?
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We'll now have public comments on the agenda items. But before we do that, I'd like to give an opportunity for our interpreter to introduce herself. The public comments that we're going to, at this time, the public comments will be on official business that was discussed throughout the course of the day. So those are things that are currently listed on our agenda that we discussed or worked on throughout the course of the day on today. We will also have an opportunity for public comment during a public hearing later on, as well as a public comment section in which you can speak to any item that you choose outside of the agenda. So, Madam.
Good evening. We're pleased to provide Spanish interpretation services this evening. These include interpretation during the meeting and for those who wants to provide public comment. Buenas noches. Estamos complacidos de proveer servicios de interpretación esta noche. Esto incluye interpretación durante la reunión y para aquellos que quieren proveer comentario público. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now have approval of the minutes for the City Commission meeting regular session. I'm sorry?
You'll let them do public comment.
I think you're correct. I'm sorry about that. Is there anyone here who would like to have public comment on any of the items that are on the agenda for this evening? Seeing none, we'll close that public comment section. And we'll move on now to the approval of minutes for the regular session, February 22nd, 2022. Colleagues, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We'll now move on to petitions and communications. I'm going to ask City Clerk if you could share with us the petitions and communications.
Communication received from Andy Koning regarding odd-even parking.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from the Neighborhood Association Collaborative regarding MyVita and the City of Grand Rapids Cannabis Social Equity Policy.
That is received and filed.
Communication from Joshua Lunger regarding their resignation from the Stormwater Oversight Commission.
That will be referred to the Committee on Appointments.
Communication from Jaman Alexander regarding their resignation from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
That too will be referred to Committee on Appointments.
And finally, communication from Alicia Lewis regarding their resignation from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Guess what? That's going to be referred to the Committee on Appointments as well. So thank you very much for that. We'll now move to the reports of city officers.
The first one is the Comptroller's Report for the period of February 9, 2022 through February 25, 2022 in the amount of $30,609,373.52.
They'll be received and filed.
And Treasurer's Report for the period of February 8, 2022 through February 28, 2022.
That will be received and filed. Thank you. We'll now move on to the consent agenda and reports of standing committees. This is, again, these are actions and business that was taken care or done on this morning at various committee meetings, and with one voice vote, we will approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Very good. Motion carries. We have one item that has been removed from the consent, and that is due to the fact that we have a colleague who has to step away and, what is it, he is,
He's going to abstain.
he's going to be abstaining from the vote, and it's a resolution approving a request from Long Road Distillers LLC for a new off-premise tasting room license to be located at 959 Cherry Street Southeast. Is there a motion to approve?
Support.
Okay. Commissioner Yasasi.
Thank you, President Jones. This is just simply a resolution, as was stated, for Long Road Distillers LLC for a new off-premise tasting room at 959 Cherry Street Southeast. It's a past location of Books and Mortar and in our East Hills neighborhood, center of the universe.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any questions? No? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and we have one abstention from Commissioner O'Connor. Very good. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is ordinances to be adopted, which we have none. We also have no city commission resolutions on this evening, which takes us to section 13, which is public hearings. This time we will have one public hearing that will consist of two items. We're going to take those together. It's a public hearing to consider establishing an industrial development district for Action Tooling, LLC, as well as an application for a 12-year industrial facilities exemption certificate filed by Action Tooling, LLC, for a $4.6 million project located at 3100 Kenosha Industrial Park Court, Southeast. Mr. Gracia.
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners. So before you tonight are these two items for public hearing consideration. Just to summarize, when we introduced these at Community Development a couple weeks ago, this project proposes a new construction of a 15,400 square foot facility at approximately $2.6 million. And will result in the retention of 25 new jobs and 15 new positions. And the applicant this project also has a inclusion plan target, which is overall committed of 7% of the total project. And we also have a representative, Mr. Fassbender, here to talk more specifics about the project and answer any questions you have about the success of their company and growth plans.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gracia, and welcome to you, Mr. Fassberger. If there is questions that are asked throughout the court or during this public hearing, that we may call on you to have a response, but I'm going to also give you an opportunity to speak to this if you'd like.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioners, City Attorney, Assistant City Manager. Appreciate it. Real brief, Action Tooling is the arm of Action Mold and Machining, which I started with my brother when I got out of the military after Desert Storm, so that was a while ago. But what we did was we sold it in the fall to Cybers Technologies, which is based out of Southfield, and they've got operations in Canada, USA, and Mexico. And the goal here is to put this addition on, which will allow us to work on much larger injection molds and die-cast dies. Right now, we can go up to about 30,000 pounds, but this would enable us to work on tooling upwards of 100,000 pounds for customers like LAX and ADAC Automotive, Cascade Engineering. So you just have to be set up to work on the bigger tooling, and that's what this is all about.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. Again, if questions arise, we'll actually come back up and respond, but at this time, you can feel free to have a seat. I want to open things up now for citizens to speak on this issue here that we have before us for the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak? No? Okay, very, very good. I will close that public hearing. Thank you very much again, Mr. Fasberger, Mr. Gracia. We will now move to item number 14, which is public comment. This is, again, an opportunity for you to speak for up to 3 minutes on any issue that you would like to, and would ask that you would please sign on the sheet up here to my right once you come up, and provide for us your name and where you're from so that we can make sure that it is appropriately listed in the minutes. So is there anyone who would like to have remarks on this morning? I'm sorry, on this evening. Yes, sir.
How you doing, everybody? My name is DeAndre Jones. Stay here in the city of GR. It's my grandma's birthday, and my grandma actually passed away a couple years ago, and my family is actually doing a balloon, like, fly away, and it's like, I told them I couldn't make it because, I mean, sometimes you got to make sacrifices, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when my cousin actually got killed, I didn't go to my cousin's funeral. I actually went to the Donald Trump event, and I actually spoke on the news about my cousin getting killed. And so sometimes those stories don't always get out there, and sometimes, you know, you got to speak about those things. But I was my grandma's favorite grandchild, and I just really miss my grandmother. So people out there that don't appreciate your family, like, please do. Like, I know it's probably gonna make some of my family mad, but like, sometimes you gotta sacrifice for a bigger purpose, you know what I'm saying? And I know everybody had to make those sacrifices, whether you had to come to a city commission meeting or whatever's going out there, whatever profession, you know what I'm saying? And so definitely appreciate your family, because I really wish I can have those conversations with my grandma about my goals and things that I've accomplished and things that I want to talk to her about, and I just can't do that again. So I also want to talk about the participatory budgeting process, because that's something that's I really care about. People in the community having ideas that they may be passionate about, and something that they can actually implement into the city and say that they can actually do. Once again, I like to talk about 3D printing. I believe somebody should do 3D printing, an ideal on that. I think that'd be pretty cool to see some 3D printed homes that's on the housing and sustainability. See, the new chief of police is here. It was pretty cool to get him sworn in. I watched Chief Fain get sworn in. I watched the city manager get sworn in. And so that was pretty cool, man. I hope that the new chief of police, it's a very stressful job. It's stressful being a citizen here. I'm sure it's stressful being on the city commission. So I definitely wish you well to this job, just because I know it's not easy, especially with how things have been going on in the community. So I just, wish everybody be safe. I just wish the best for everybody. And like I said, man, to really appreciate your family. Like, I love my family. I just really feel like I just had to just speak my opinion, you know what I'm saying, and voice my opinion and express myself. Like I said, I really do miss my grandma, but I want to be there for my family. And sometimes, like, I'm that person, I feel like, that has to create that change for my family, because I come from an impoverished family. Nobody really has ideas to take us out of poverty. But like I said, appreciate your family. I appreciate it.
Thank you, DeAndre. Anybody else? Public comment?
My name is Mr. Gordy. It's been a couple of years. You probably noticed that. I haven't had a haircut. COVID, 2 years. And it looks like not everybody's here yet, back. You're not even full force, so it's been a couple of years since I've spoken here. But a couple of items remain very close to me because of where I live and what I've seen. One is affordable housing. I really appreciate the Affordable Housing Fund going forward. I know we need to put a lot more money in there and get it really going, because I continually have people coming to me at the bike shop thinking, because I've been able to get a few people in at the well house, etc. They said, they come to me now, I hear you're the guy that helps people find a place to live. No, I'm not that guy. But there is so many people out there. And the rents are going just next door to us. All of a sudden, another landlord took over and he just jacked the rents up. Now, what he did was, the new guy was forced the other ones out. They had leases, but he made it so miserable they left. And one of them I asked, "Where are you going?" And she said, "Well, I've been to 35 places already, trying to put in my application. I'm hoping to get someplace to live." So affordable housing is really, really important. And I'm hoping you have other ideas of how to make that fund larger. Okay? I have some ideas, but now's not the time to speak to that, I think. The other thing is police chief. I know we got a new police chief, which is great, but I go back to the time of Hegarty. Of course, Dolan came in, and he was going to, from North Carolina, he was going to do community policing. It's very hard for a police chief to get that off the ground if, the police officers don't want to do it. They don't want to get out of the car. They don't want to do it. And I wave at everybody, you know that, and I talk to everybody, but a lot of times they don't even wave. Okay, I'm not a threat to you guys. I'm on the street, I'm just waving. So I'm hoping the next police chief, I know it's Eric Payne did a great job, I thought, and he made some progress there. I'm hoping and praying that the new police chief can get the officers out of the car and get just talking to people. A lot of people in my neighborhood, I talked to a guy the other day, he hates the police. I just don't hate the police, but he got beat up. Not even in the city, he got beat up by a police officer. And it's like that anger, okay? I said, be angry, don't hate. But I know we need to get the community connected with the police officers and peace officers. Thank you much.
Thank you, Mr. Gordy.
Hello, my name is Andra. I'm from Grand Rapids. I've been thinking about what I wanted to come here and say the last couple of days because we never get a response from our leaders. Our leaders that are supposed to be elected to serve the tax-paying Grand Rapids residents. And pretty much all of my comrades all agree on the social and environmental changes that need to happen in this city. I've been coming here pretty consistently over the past year, and I've thought about various ways to approach my city council to get some type of response and to hold you all accountable for the work that you claim you're doing. I've asked to meet with my commissioners and sit at a round table and have open dialogue about what exactly you're actively working on, instead of this setup, which is us just talking at each other, but I never get a response. So what are you working on? We want to know what it is you're working on because the only response we've gotten was, rest assured we're working on things. You don't know what we're working on behind closed doors. Well, we want concrete proof and examples because from our vantage point, year after year, things not only stay the same, but they get worse. So we need to know that you're doing more than just placating us, more than just PR speeches for the camera or social media blogs, more than just declaring racism a public crisis. We need to see more than just changing street names. Do we have a community outreach team to actually go out into the community and research current trends to evaluate that we're moving in the right direction when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion? Because otherwise declaring racism as a public crisis is just more placating, and changing street names is just cosmetic change and not substantive. With that said, we will continue to show up and use our voice, especially in representation with those who cannot be here and use their voice. We will continue to expose the truth, hold you all accountable, and we will protest and disrupt capitalism, taking back our streets and our city. And I hope everyone will join me in boycotting businesses here in Grand Rapids, because the only way for these officials to take us seriously is to hurt them directly where it counts. Because money talks and BS walks. If they aren't going to use our taxpayer dollars collectively in ways that benefit all of us, then we will keep our dollars to ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm from Grand Rapids. At first, I didn't have anything to say, but now I have. Welcome to the new chief. We like welcome to the new chief here. Let's hope he gets the department in the right frame of mind. A few days ago in Houston, a guy named Sharion Lockett was killed by police detectives right in front of his house. They just came up and opened fire. Not good. I hope the Houston Police Department fired them people who did the wrong thing. In the words of Dr. Greg Carr, hunt, wait, if they die, lie. This is why the George Floyd Justice and Police Reform Act needs to be passed. Qualified immunity is getting worse every single time. As for affordable housing, I understand there's a need for it. Less supply, big demand. You have landlords taking dilapidated buildings, fixing them up, tricking them up, and raising astronomically high rents all across the country. Rent control needs to be discussed. We don't want any more people homeless, and in the case of my cousin, dead because of homelessness. Remove the J. Edgar Hoover's name from the FBI building in Washington, D.C., and remove George Wallace's name from the tunnel down Mobile, Alabama. Commissioner Jones, thank you for doing an incredible job here tonight.
Thank you, Mark. Any other public comments? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close that public comment section. I'll now turn to my colleagues to receive comments by them. I'll start down to my right with my colleague in the second, Linda Asasi.
Thank you. Thank you for those who came out today. We had a busy day. I know housing was discussed. We had an update from our Grand Rapids Housing Commission that I thought was quite thorough and involved. And I know they have a meeting tonight as well. So I encourage you, if you didn't get a chance to watch, to take a look at it. It was a multiple page presentation by the housing director, Ms. Reams. So, and then just the only other thing I want to say is I was honored last week to join with our colleague, City Attorney Anita Hitchcock, as an influential woman in West Michigan. So, you know what? I'm gonna hype myself up and thank you for all your work, and appreciate Commissioner Lanier was able to join us, and all the others that were recognized last week. Thanks.
Commissioner Repart.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I want to just extend my welcome to Chief Winstrom, to Grand Rapids, and also to Ms. Kate Behrens. These are two just absolutely critical roles for our city, and I feel an immense amount of hope for the future that we were able to find people of such quality as you. So thank you for saying yes to us, and we look forward to enfolding you into our team here. I do also want to express my appreciation and congratulations to all the GRPD officers who were honored last night at the annual awards banquet for the last 2 years. It was good for me to hear the situations that they've successfully sometimes de-escalated, sometimes resolved, and some of them were fairly gruesome. So that was a good reminder at how difficult the work that they do is. So congrats to all those award winners. And I echo what Commissioner Isasi said. Please check out we did get some good news from the Housing Commission today of some things that they're working on, who are going to hopefully shake some affordable housing things loose, as well as, looking forward to continuing the conversation around these text amendments that will hopefully stimulate some small-scale, gentle infill development in neighborhoods. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner. My colleague in the third, if you haven't heard, Commissioner Lanier.
Don't give up your day job. Thank you, Mr. President. And thanks to all of you for coming out tonight, and welcome to Chief and to Kate. And congratulations, Commissioner Isasi. It's on my notes, but you gave your own thunder. And congratulations to you too, Madam City Attorney, for your 50 Most Influential Women Grand Rapids Business Journal Awards that you all received. It was great to be present with the two of you to celebrate. And I'd also like to just honor Ms. Bobby Butler, who served on the Housing Commission, speaking of the presentation from the Housing Commission today, who served on the Housing Commission for 45 years. And is kind of retiring from that, those years of service. And, not only did she serve there, but she served this city and the county and this community in so many different ways, and just truly an inspiration, and always sharp to the nines whenever you see her. And she didn't miss a beat today either.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner O'Connor. Okay. Mr. City Clerk.
We'll go outside my clerk wheelhouse today, but this is an event that needs public notaries, which I am one of those. So there is an expungement fair coming up on April 2. And so we're looking for some attorneys and some public notaries to help with that event. So you can look up this event on the city's Facebook page and other social media. But it's amazing work that Mr. Davis and Ms. Johnson in their office is doing to bring people back into society after serving their time and or have served time and want to get those offenses off their record. So, but we do need some notary publics and some attorneys to volunteer their time on Saturday, April 2. So you can reach out to Mr. Davis's office to sign up for that, or look for it on social media.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Madam City Attorney. Nothing? Yes, indeed. Assistant City Manager Matthews.
I feel like I'd be missing an opportunity if I didn't at least say a couple of words, right? Clearly, no one was prepared for me to be doing this evening. I have the homemade badge out front.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Hondor. Just a couple of things. I too want to congratulate Commissioner Isasi and our city attorney for the recognition, and want to personally, again, recognize our new deputy city manager, who's going to be the next of the top 50 most influential women in Grand Rapids. I feel like I want to recognize two people, the city attorney and the outgoing deputy city manager, for the guidance and the mentorship that they've provided me along the way to hopefully prepare me periodically to keep this seat warm. So that's all from me.
Thank you very much. I just also want to take an opportunity to recognize, as has been mentioned with my colleague Commissioner Isasi, as well as City Attorney Anita Hitchcock. It's a big deal, and so I want to recognize that you all were obviously honored on last week, and it's well deserved. And so thank you for your service and for your example. I too would like to say welcome to our new Deputy City Manager, Kate Behrens. Again, as I said earlier in the day, welcome to the 616. Glad to have you. Same thing goes for Police Chief Winstrom. Again, the 616 we are fortunate, I think, because of your presence here with us. And I, too, would like to recognize Bobby Butler. Bobby is, she's an icon in our community. And this morning, we had the opportunity to honor her. And as Commissioner Lanier mentioned, 45 years. 45 years. That's almost as long as I've been alive, right? But that's a long time. And she has served with great distinction, and served as a member of the Grand Rapids Housing Commission. And I believe that she was given the opportunity to do some rather significant things on behalf of families in Grand Rapids. I know that there's a quote from Dr. King. He says that longevity has its place, and she very much, again, she served for 45 years, and her presence on the Housing Commission defines what it means to provide a hope in the future, because she did just that, because she was helping to provide housing for families in Grand Rapids. And I do believe that we're better as a city because of her presence and her service. And so I want to thank, again, Bobby Butler publicly, and again, I'm very appreciative for her service. And on that, I will go ahead and call this meeting adjourned.